Howdy folks, Kathy Williams-DeVries here for the latest instalment on how to play your scales for clarinet. We're doing F major and D minor today, and as per the previous videos I will be looking at the scales in the Thurston book, the clarinet, the Baermann method for clarinet 3rd division, and the Klose method for clarinet as well. I actually have two editions of the Klose. There's the Clarinet School soft edition, and also a hardback edition I've got that have a few more scales in it than does the soft paperback Klose. Now, there's not a lot of difficulty, as for the last few scales, not a lot of difficulty in F major and D minor. In F major you just have to remember your B flat, and D minor there might be a slight difficulty going from B flat to C sharp, but you can always work on that. There's not a lot of drama in the interrupted scales or the returning scale. Maybe the only thing is putting the sliver key on for the top F so that it's not flat. And before I move into the scales, I'm just looking at the Thurston book here, and for F major and also for the other keys as well. Before the scales themselves, they have little finger exercises which are quite helpful. I noticed here on page 53 for G major that they do have some exercises for sliding the little finger of the right hand from the D sharp to the B, as I was telling you about in the last video, and they do have a few exercises for that. So those are quite good. As I was telling you yesterday, just oil the outside of your little finger, and then you'll slide from the D sharp to the B a lot easier. Although, if you have a look on page 53, this one's easy. That's quite easy, but the next one, you have to slide from the B to the G sharp. And something similar. You have to do a few slides there. And for the 10th lower as well. So I thought I might include that because we did have issues in E minor, having to slide from the D sharp to the B in the interrupted scale. And there's some nice little finger exercises in F major, going from F to B flat. Quite challenging also. Those two seem the most challenging. The next one, you can help yourself by keeping the right hand down, so you don't have to put quite so many fingers down when you go from the B flat to the C. The next one, you can use the long B flat to go between the B flat and the E. And then quite challenging little left hand exercises. And in fact, if you are looking for a good left hand exercise, the Longinus method has a wonderful left hand exercise, and I've actually given a tutorial video on that, so please check that out if you're looking for. It's about a 3 or 4 pages worth of exercise. It's really brilliant. But we start with F major. There's absolutely no dramas. You just want to get a really smooth sound all over the range. And the thing is with scales, some people practice their scales with crappy reeds. Not really a good idea. I try to put my best reed on when I'm practicing my scales, because I want my scales to sound as beautiful as any piece I'm playing. And if you can make a scale sound beautiful with nice tone, good legato, clean fingers, then your pieces are going to sound a lot better. And it's why I warm up with long tones between 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, because if the long tones are nice, then you're going to have a nice sound, and it's going to be a lot nicer to listen to you. But F major, no drama whatsoever. Now D minor, in the melodic, you beware of the augmented second between the B flat and the C sharp. Can get a little finicky up in the altissimo. And I would take that out and practice it. Watch that you don't put the little finger down for the C sharp. It will be far too sharp. Just put the key on for the D. So I would suggest you make that a little exercise. Although it isn't written out like that in the Baermann or Thurston, it's just the mere melodic scale. And there's absolutely no dramas there whatsoever. Likewise with the interrupted scales, in the F major, no dramas, just the B flat. And I think there's a slight difference between the Thurston and the Baermann. Just let me have a look at that. Yes, in the Baermann, it goes up to a top G, whereas in the Thurston you repeat the F, D, E, the B, the C, D, E, F. You go. So there is a slight difference there. I don't know whether it's a typo in the Thurston or it's meant to be like that. And D minor is not a hassle either. In the melodic. Maybe between the B and C sharp you might want to get that fairly clean. I did mention it in E minor, because you do come across in the Crucell concerto in F minor. So just be aware. So that's not too stressful. We come to the returning scale. We then switch over to Klose, where we have the repeating scale at the octave. F major is not a drama. Yeah, that's fairly straightforward. Again, with D minor, you want to watch the B flat to C sharp. that augmented second. Oops, I just played the melodic. The melodic's a lot more straightforward. And then on the way down it's all naturals. And believe me, this exercise of the returning, the interrupted scale at the octave do get a lot harder the more sharps and flats involved. And from the interrupted scale, we then come to the returning scale. No dramas here. Maybe when you hit the top F, you might want to put the sliver key on so it's not flat. So that and you may find that in order to go between the B flat and the C a little easier, you can leave down the right hand, or that only works down to a G. When it comes to an F, you're on your own. So that's not too much of a drama. We then come to the arpeggios in the Thurston. Again, you might want to put the sliver key on to get the top F in tune. D minor. No dramas whatsoever. And then we're looking at the other broken chords on page 16 of the Baermann. Again, put on the sliver key. Sometimes I use an overblown low D for a nice F. You can also use the long F. That's quite preferable. Completely your choice. But that is a very strong F, especially at the beginning of the Weber 2. D minor, much the same. Sorry, I'm really squeaking today. It's not very good, is it? I really need to practice these again. And then from the broken chords, we then come to the seventh. There's no drama here, except what G you would want to use. I use this G, can tend to be a little out of tune. You can use this G and pop the C sharp key down so that it comes out. Whoops, where are we? Can use this one, that's a bit problematic. Then top B flat is much the same as the F fingering, but you stick on the E flat key in the right hand. And here, maybe a slight difficulty is which is a little similar to those exercises at the beginning of the Thurston. But and also going from B flat to G, make sure that's clean. You may want to practice that as well. And then the next part of the dominant seventh, take it slowly. As for the G, I would use 2, 3, 1, 2 and C sharp key. So, and then you've got that G to C to E, B flat again. So there are some difficulties if you're playing them. This is in the 6th. You want to use the long B flat there. Yeah, I find that's the best C for me. So once we've done the 7th chords, we then go through the couple of diminished. So in F major, the diminished chord would start on an E, on page 9 of the Baermann. And you've got that C sharp to B flat again. So and same fingerings again here. Again. Now here, from the G to the C sharp, make sure you take off those 2 keys, because a C sharp is way too sharp if you leave the E flat key on. So after the E, make sure you take the E flat key off for the C sharp. And again, get the... You want that really clean. Then the 6th. Make sure there's a lot of support on the lower note, and again for the octaves, again you want to get those intervals very clear, and I don't think you can use the long B flat anywhere, and then you've just got so that's fairly straightforward. Then you've got your other diminished chords, number 5 on page 19. And again, you want to make sure that's clean. And again, you want to make sure you take the E flat key off for the C sharp. And then in the 6th, and here you can use the long B flat. Be careful. And then we come to the scales in thirds. Not a lot of trouble with F major. That's pretty straightforward. Yeah, even. But in D minor, you're fiddling around with B's and C sharps, can get quite clanky. You want those to be really clean. And then make sure that the E flat key isn't down to the C sharp. The G, I would use that fingering. But it's pretty straightforward on the way down. Got a little bit of water in my key somewhere. And then and again, you want the B, A, C sharp, B to be fairly clean. It can get a bit clanky. And then not a lot of dramas on the way down. Of course, you can practice this as a harmonic as well. And then after the scales in thirds, we then do the scales in sixths. The scales in sixths in the Baermann are fairly straightforward. But the D minor sounds interesting because you do start off in D minor, but the B natural and C sharps tend to throw you a little bit. Make sure that the D to B and the E to C sharp are clean. And as you get up higher, just sharpen that top F a little bit with the sliver key. I've really got some water issues today. And I do recommend that you practice these slowly. Especially when you're going. And you can use your long B flat there. Now we look at the scales in sixths in the Klose. Actually, the F major one is quite an interesting one. This is on page 171 of my Klose. There you can use your long B flat. So I do recommend that you try that one. And I rather like the D minor one. These all have different rhythms and stuff. They're absolutely brilliant. Or you can tongue or slur it. I recommend that you do both. And then of course there's the octave exercise. I like the Klose and Baermann octave exercises. They're quite comprehensive, and I do recommend that you practice your scales in sixths and octaves, not just for the legato, but for the fact that the clarinet doesn't overblow up the octave like all of the other wind instruments. I think that's all I have to say about F major and D minor. If I've left anything out or got any further questions, do not hesitate to drop me a line either on the channel, kathleenwilliams76@bigpond.com, webclarinetlessons@gmail.com, brisbaneclarinetist@gmail.com, the guest book on my website, kathywilliams76.com, or Skype, kathywilliamsdevries, or Facebook on kathywilliamsdevries too, where you can also friend me. I'm quite happy to accept any friend requests from my clarinet fans and the general public. So that's F major and D minor for you. Be sure to look out for my next video, which will be looking at D major and B minor. So thanks for listening. Bye for now.